Since I rebuilt my Indian Chief, I've been getting a lot of questions on whether or not the ride command will work on bikes like the Springfield or the older Chief. And also, being that I owned a Scout Bobber before, I had the thoughts on whether or not the ride command will work on a Scout. And I'm sure many of you have had that same thought, especially when Indian came out with the new redesigned Chief with the ride command that's 4 inches that fits perfectly, or it appears to fit perfectly right there on the Scout lineup. And also, especially when the FTR has ride command as well. So this is a wrecked ride command that's kind of destroyed right here. And I have all the individual pieces that kind of make ride command work. And I kind of just want to talk about how the ride command works and whether or not I think it will work on a Springfield or a Scout. So this is a brand new ride command right here that I have for my other Indian Chief back there, not the Super Chief right there, but there's another one back there that's torn completely apart that I'm rebuilding. The way that this thing works is it receives all of its information from the ECM. It does not store anything. It is purely a display. So from the bike that this came from, there's nothing stored in this that I can't get back. All of the information is relayed from the ECM, the WCM, and also the VCM. Now we have a few cables right here. We got the wiring harness, which is also damaged. This connects directly into the back of the ride command right there. And we also have this USB cable with the opposite end connects into the back of this. This gives power to the cell modem. And also we have the GPS device that connects via this blue cable right here into the back of the ride command right there. That gives us GPS. And also on the other end of this GPS module, we have this cable right here that connects into the cell modem. This is what gives us GPS, and the other end right here clicks into that. So this is wired all throughout the back end of the bike. And this little device right here on the end of this 8-pin connector, it connects on the back side of the ride. Well, it connects from the other end of the ride command into the wiring harness. Now, for this to work, I think a number of things would have to happen. One, you would need all of this wiring, which I think comes up to right at $2,000 just to get the ride command, which is right at $720, and the cell modems, I think $700, and the various cables bring this up to around $1,800. Just to get the ride command the necessary pieces to make it work. The next step would be trying to get the other end of that wiring harness to connect into the wiring harness on whatever bike you're trying to use, whether it be a Scout Bobber or Scout 60, Scout Roll, whatever, they're all the same bike, or a Springfield. The big question I had before I started this is whether or not the ECM would allow for this to happen. You know, you connect the ride command in, will it like kick back or something if you plugged it into another bike? And I don't think that's going to happen, because again, this is simply a display for information that the ECM is giving it. So if you did hook this up to a Scout or Springfield, there's a possibility, let's say it did work, right? There's a possibility that the ECM won't send it any information. It won't know what to send it because it's not programmed to send it to this bike, right? Or this screen. So there's that could not work. These pins on this harness are set up specifically for certain things. Like there's a CAN bus in, CAN bus out, there's power in, power out. There's also things that connect to the VCM, the WCM. So the WCM is the security mechanism on the bike. I don't think that would really be a problem. If there's no security device on the bike, you just put the key in and it starts up. When it comes to things like cruise control, power modes, cylinder deactivation, I don't think any of that would work because that information is not programmed into the ECM on bikes like a Scout. The power modes I feel like would work on the older Chief or Springfield, because they do have, I don't know about the Chiefs, but I know the Springfields, they have the different power modes. But if you plug this into a Scout and it perhaps works, you're not going to get a chance to do power modes or cylinder deactivation, because I don't think the technology is in the bikes. Now, cruise control, being that a Scout is rod by wire, that may or may not work, but the ride command does not control that information or control that capability. It simply just shows that you have cruise control enabled. So this is where the next piece comes in, where you would need the left and the right handlebar controls, because that is what allows you to navigate through the menus of the ride command. Now you could use touchscreen and do everything, but If you want to do like the media control, if you want to be able to flip through the menus while you're riding on the bike, or be able to like change power modes, or actually enable cruise control if you're on like a Springfield. I think Springfields have cruise control. I really don't remember, but bikes with cruise control already built into the bike, for something like a Scout, you would have to somehow get these different handlebar control pieces, which, if I remember correctly, they are right at $400 to $450 a piece for the left and the right. So now you're looking at right at $3,000 just to get this set up, and that's not including getting the front and the back panels to the controls. And then you would need another wiring harness that fits the Chief or Thunderstroke or a Power Plus handlebar harness to work with this, and then connect into your wiring harness. So long story short, I think it's possible. I have seen somebody put this ride command screen on an FTR. I'm sure many of you have seen that. So, but that is a ride command to ride command kind of situation, not a ride command to a bike that does not have ride command. So like I said, it could be that you plug this up and it could just show you the speed. Like, you can hook up aftermarket speedometers to motorcycles and they work. So the big thing is making sure that I guess the wiring is correct, plugging this into the harness on the Scout or Springfield, and it works. And like I said, once you plug this into this bike, the only thing that you need to power this on is this cable. Once you start getting into the GPS situation, you're gonna need the cell modem. Again, that's another $700. You're gonna need this actual GPS piece. You're gonna need this cable. Now you're getting a little bit more complicated, but really it's just mounting it and running the cable. So it's not really that big of a deal, but I would love to see this on a Scout. I would definitely try it if I had a Scout at my disposal, but right now I only have Chiefs. I got 3 Chiefs in my garage. I don't have a single Scout. But for those of you out there wondering, will this work? I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. I'm just gonna say that this device is not locked to the Chief. That is my final verdict. And the different cables, as long as you can get them wired in to another wiring harness on a bike, this could definitely work on another bike. This is simply, again, a display. It just receives the information that the ECM, the computers on the bike, is giving it. That's it. So there's nothing stored in this. So if you want to buy this device, you can get it direct from Indian site. I think there's a back order on them right now, but like I said, I have a destroyed one. This one, you hear some shaking in it. This one's definitely destroyed from the accident that the bike was in. I was definitely curious when I first got the bike whether or not this will work. And like I said, one day I may try it, but it's, at the end of the day, it's nothing but electricity, zeros and ones receiving signals. So for those of you out there that want to try it, you know, you're looking at about a final verdict, you know, just to get the screen going, you're probably looking at about right at $1,000 to see if you can just get the screen and this wiring harness that gives the screen power and everything. So if I get another Scout one day, maybe I'll try it. So yeah, until then, I'm gonna stick to rebuilding these Chiefs and put this new one on the Chief that I'm rebuilding. And if you didn't know, at some point in time, I'm gonna give away those 2 Chiefs back there when they're done being rebuilt. But right now, I'm giving away a 2013 Harley Davidson V-Rod. So I've already given away my Indian Chief back there. Fantastic bike, very fun bike to ride. But yeah, I'm giving away a Harley Davidson V-Rod. So if you want to get in on that, click right here and head over to my website and get entered. You can't even get a V-Rod anymore, but I have one, right? You can't get them new anyway. And also, if you want to catch up on the series with rebuilding those bikes, you can click right here and start that playlist from the very beginning. But as always, thanks for listening to my story, and I hope you learned something. And if you're subscribed, which I hope you are, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.